now. Okay, great. Well, a very warm welcome to you, Rob. Thank you very much for joining us. And this evening we are going to be hearing, I think, an amazing story really of yours, because your story, I think, is just an extraordinary example of vision and determination. A lot of people are going to think, well, you know, he's always been so successful. It's just all just flowed for him. But I think we're going to find some really interesting things tonight about how it's been for you. So we just can't wait for that. Now, cool. What we're going to do is we're going to do some questions for Rob, which will run for about half an hour. And then after that, between about 9 and 9:15, we'll do some questions. So if you've got any particular questions that you've got that you'd like to ask Rob, then if you put them on the chat up on the bottom, and then I'll go through those and I will ask Rob the questions rather than going for a free-for-all.
I'm laughing, James, because the Swampy from Cardiff is throwing abuse at me by text at the moment.
Okay, well, we better start then straight away. All right, so Rob, you know, you've got an amazing story, and, you know, I remember you being involved, you know, and working so hard before everything really took off for you. And that was fascinating to see, because you just never gave up. And I think that was a thing that really I saw with you, just had such a determination. But just for interest's sake, it'd be fascinating to know, how were you first introduced to Juice Plus?
Like most people, I was very skeptical, and being a sort of a health professional as well. The guy that kept showing it me was like, I just played golf with the guy, and crazily enough, I remember it being launched, believe it or not, but I just, for some reason, timing wasn't right for me. Maybe the environmental time wasn't right and stuff. So I sort of forgot all about it. And this guy who I met at the fitness centre, was one of my clients as a physio. He basically kept going on about it to me. And I suppose after a year, I broke. I didn't go to shut him up. I'm not that sort of person. I just went to sort of have a look and say, right, Dave, that's it. I've seen it. It's not for me. Thank you very much. Let's carry on playing golf. But by the time I'd left the seminar, where there was 200 seats and nobody there other than me, Alex Hemmer-Webb, who I didn't know, Shay Senior, I'd signed up somebody on the product on the way home, and I've just been playing golf with him today after 10 years. He's been on the product 10 years. So I just saw, you know, an amazing, never mind opportunity, an amazing opportunity to get, you know, an amazing product out there which everyone's going to need. You know, so that's how I was shown.
No, that's fascinating. I mean, you know, obviously you were a visionary right from the word go. But, you know, sometimes fitness professionals, you know, people hear that fitness professionals can be very skeptical, but you obviously were skeptical, but you saw something there with Juice Plus that obviously really appealed to you. What was it that really appealed to you as the product?
Well, it was just, you know, I knew the scientific background of how your body works and your cells, and that, how it was all of that side, and where you're likely to become ill. And then if you could get to that side, you was less likely to become ill. But we needed antioxidants at the time, and I just knew that that's what we needed. And then it was like, wow, this is amazing. As if it was just thrown at me on my lap. I thought, wow, this is so much easier. And the fact that it was proven, it was a no-brainer to me. I thought everybody in the world should be taking this product. End of. And that was my attitude. And I've always been open-minded, to be fair. And I know a lot of health professionals, and they seem sort of wrapped up within their own little what they are, other than think outside the box. If you're a health professional, you know, we help thousands of people now, not just a small amount. So, you know, I just saw an opportunity, and I didn't know that this was going to happen. I just knew that we had to make it happen somehow.
Yeah. So you got going with the business, and you know, everything with what you have now didn't happen straight away, did it? I mean, it took a while. Tell us about your first 2 years. What was your first 2 years like?
It's strange, really, but I just knew that if I just kept going, that things would happen, you know, and I just believed in the product so much. But, you know, for 2 years, I mean, I always joke, it was like pulling teeth in a way. But I went out there and just thought, right, how can I get this out there? Because remember, social media was nothing 10 years ago. But I went to networking events. I used to get up at 5 a.m, get to like meetings that start 6 till 8, and go and do a full clinic. And then I'd do a little bit in between my clients, and then do something when I got home. So, and I did that 3 or 4 times a week. That's how hard it was. And I probably made £200 to £500 a month for about 2 years, which again is life-changing income. Really, it just takes the pressure off a little bit. You know, that's what it was like. It was, and I attracted health professionals into our team. To be fair though, some was still in there working with me.
Yeah, I mean, and I remember, obviously talking to you and chatting to you, when you were getting going and everything. And I remember, you had some quite big disappointments before things really got moving. I remember you had a big line in Scotland that suddenly disappeared. And
I mean, even before then, I got somebody in who, it was unheard of then, who managed to get 20, 30 customers in a month, where the most people were getting was 5, and someone came along and got 20, 30, and the company even thought, this is the person who's going to take our business to the next level. And, and then they dropped out, let's say, after a while. Then I just kept going, and then I was quite at a low ebb, to be honest with you. My heartfelt truth is I wasn't in a good place because of personal circumstances after that. And then John came along. But I always had this torch, this light, which was, this is products is going to be amazing. I need to keep doing this. But I built up like a good relationship up with somebody, with Shay Senior, and I was in. That's it. End of chart. I was in this business. I was going to make it happen, even though I was on a very, very low point. And that's where John came along. It was just crazy.
So tell us how you met John, because, I mean, it's so interesting that you were at such a low ebb. A lot of people would say, well, you know what, I'm going to quit. That's it. I've given everything I can give. But you just have that amazing mindset that you were just determined to keep going. So
it was crazy. I mean, I had sort of I probably sponsored in 10 people in 2 years, again, which is another story in itself. And I only had two lines that were actually growing, right? And it was crazy because John was introduced to the business by a guy in one of the lines that was growing. So I didn't know John, but this person who lived in Bolton spoke to John in a pub, and John tells a story about this bloke said fruits, vegetables and berries in a capsule, and John goes, oh, what a load of rubbish. So John went and Googled Juice Plus, and the guy that I was working with, for some reason, his website was at the top of Google. So John clicked on that website, and this other guy on another leg from Bolton, he had his website and his phone number, and then John just rang the phone number and said, I want to join that business. So either way, it was going to happen, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So John came from just hanging in there and keep things moving. And in fact, it came from me going to networking 3 times a week, 6 in the morning. If I'd not done that, I would never have met John.
What do you mean by that, going at 6 in the morning for networking? What do you, in terms?
I had a full day's work to do, clients, right? So I had to go find a way of meeting people. Remember, there's no social media. So I went out to networking events called the BRX, they call them the BNI. There's thousands now around the UK. I went out 3 times a week before I started work, networking, meeting people. And that's how John came about, through somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody. But the only way it could have come about, because I only had two duplicating legs at the time, was from them duplicating legs. But both of them, someone had asked John out of both of them. So it's just going to happen. And I just feel the universe really repays you. If you really want something bad enough, they'll put the things in place for you to work, and it'll happen for you, because do the right thing, be a good person, things just happen for you if that's what you're about.
Well, I mean, what's really fascinating about that is that, I mean, obviously there's so much success now, online through social media, but time and time again, we hear when we do these calls, that very often people's best people are coming in an offline situation. So, you were introduced to John by someone else. It came as a result of you doing a lot of sort of essentially offline networking.
Yeah.
And that's a very interesting thing. Do you see that now very strongly, that as online and offline as well, that's very productive?
I think you just got to do what suits you. And I just think you need to know your numbers. I still do offline networking. I still chat to people and talk to people. I was in American Golf the other day, and a guy just sort of went in, and he just started chapping. I got a bit of rapport, and he just said, what do you do, like? I said, where do you play? And I said, what do you do for a living? I said, I help golf professionals get a competitive edge with a nutritional breakthrough, and just shut my mouth. So then he goes, well, what is it? I just said, well, and I just started the conversation there. Now he's got a week trial, and he's going to sign up tomorrow, I think, hopefully.
Fantastic.
So I still do the offline networking, and I go once a week to a networking club. Also, obviously, but I do a lot. I've got my DMO, daily method of operation, revolves around social media. It has to, because it makes it so much easier.
Yeah. So tell us, I mean, again, my understanding with John is that it wasn't like up and up straight away. I mean, John had a certain amount of success, but there was a certain struggle that went on.
To be honest with you, John was absolutely rubbish. And I don't mean that in a nasty way. We were both rubbish, but we both had a vision, and we knew it was a great product, and we didn't know what we was doing, to be honest with you. And me and John went around for maybe 2 years as good friends, and the business grew, and then I ended up getting the line in Edinburgh, in Glasgow, sorry, and it was a really good line, and the person was so far off cue, which was unheard of then, and then she rang me while I was on the beach in the Gambia to tell me that she was packing it in, but all we had really was that collapsing, and now we had John, who which is probably a key, is find somebody to work with who I knew was in it for the duration, like me. And then out the blue, Katie Ravey came on board through John. I put a seminar on with a certain Mr. Colburn, turned up, paid for the seminar. Mark turned up, Katie came. John said, look, just have one look. If you don't like it, it's not for you. And obviously the story with Katie is unbelievable. And obviously I incentivised Katie because she started putting customers on, and I sort of paid for her to go to Rome, which was the best investment I've ever made. That's how it came about. But it was like 5 years before I started what you might call getting some momentum and for this thing to start moving.
Yeah, and so just tell us a little bit about the incentives that you were doing for people, and when you saw people getting going and beginning to get excited, what did you say?
It's give and take, isn't it? You've got to, I said to Katie, I remember now saying, right, it was Rome, we had 4 months, and I said, right, if you get 60 customers, I'll pay for the flights, accommodation, etc., right? And I did it to Claire Nicholson as well. I said 40 to her. Anyway, she did it in the month. The month I said I gave the incentive, she did it. And I always remember that was the catalyst for this thing to go. It was just Rome, basically. I ended up being Club 12 for those who were not there. It's they matter at the moment. But and that's when I just thought, right, this thing's working. It's duplicating. Yeah. So incentives are I think that you can't don't give anything for nothing. You've got to give something for something. Reward people for effort, and they'll reward their people for effort. I've done all the giving free things away. You've got to just give people a reason, something to chase, something different, something bigger than themselves. And and that's really how Team Rhino sort of came around. It was like we needed a team ethic, and Team Rhino just came out one day.
Yeah, I remember seeing you once at one of the conferences, and I could see you preparing the brand and doing everything to do with Rhino and everything. And you obviously got a clear idea that you needed to have a brand, you needed to have a team identity really early on.
Well, as soon as it started to it was a limerick actually. If you see on Facebook today, there's a lot of stuff. Me and John exactly 5 years ago when I created Team Rhino, and John jokingly said, he asked him a bit of advice, how should we do this business? And he was a sales coordinator, and I think I was a sales coordinator. He just said, just get on with it. And he's so right. Just get on with it. And then I think what's working for everybody is creating their own brand, because if it's about you, it's like you're in charge, you're the leader, you're the boss. But if you're all part of a culture or an organisation, everyone's the same, and we're just doing the same things. And if you keep doing the same things, you'll get the success as well. If you say my team, etc., I think that's not a good thing. I think you've got to create an us and a we platform to work with, so everyone feels that they're joining something, a movement, or joining a club, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and so I mean, obviously, the success that you've had is absolutely outstanding. What would you say have been the key components you think that have really made things accelerate in your team? What are some of the things that you've seen? You know, those are the key things that have really made it work big time.
Definitely, the team ethic. Definitely creating a team or a movement, something people can join and be part of. Where it doesn't really. I mean, I think as well, ditching the don't become too much of a carrot hugger, as I call it jokingly. Oh, I am a carrot hugger. I love like nutrition and micronutrients and minerals, but majority of people aren't that bothered. But I think people will join. You've got to appeal to the masses, and I think that's what we did with Rhino. We appealed to the masses by saying, look, come and look good, come feel good, come make some money and have some fun. So it wasn't, without them 4 points, I don't think it would have worked, because people don't want to sort of become, let's say, 100% super healthy. Well, they want to become super healthy, but they're not prepared to do that. They still want to have a good time. And you'll notice with that Team Rhino, we've got a sort of good time, sort of come and have some fun, sort of part of our business. You know, so I think like you've got to appeal. We started appeal to the masses, to the common person, not just to sort of health professionals or people who you know love to juice every day and they just want to. That was it. Really. They want to be healthy, but they still want to have a good time, and they're prepared to give up a little bit to get a bit more, but they still have the good time stuff going on. They sort of look good, they felt good, and they make some money. So as a package, it was easy to give away because there's no financial risk either with our business. I think that was it really. It was appealing to the masses.
Yeah, and then Rob, how important were some of the tools? I mean, you know, the Don Failers, the Jim Rohns. How important was that to really get people's heads around what the concept was of what we're doing?
Well, all I can say is I have Jim Rohn in my car, my hard disk on the car, and I have it's on in my car when I'm driving around. It's on, whether I like it or not, and it's amazing how I just if I'm like say having maybe I won't say a low moment, but a sort of a moment when I'm not as I'm thinking, wow, I've had a bad day basically. 3 people have decided not they're going to do it, and I've got no customers, and then I put that on, and it's Jim Rohn say something to me. I think, right, that's fine, and that was meant to be. This is how it works. People are going to say no. It's just the way it is, and all that sort of stuff, and find a way to serve the people, find a way to serve the masses, little things like that. So personal development is massive. I mean, Eric Worre is probably he's brought it up into the modern day, if you will, definitely. And obviously, but Jim Rohn for me it makes it just so simple. And Don Failor showed us how, you know, why get 5 customers and 1 franchise? What I mean, it was Katie with me and John, right, was sort of getting 1 and 5 a month, which is what it was roughly 625 and 1 it was, which is like 4 customers and 1 franchise. And then Kate was getting she got 8 franchises and 30 customers. And we thought, if we can get everyone trying to do this, it's going to move quicker. And basically that's what we then, Alex gave me the Don Failor book, believe it or not, and Gordon Wilkie gave it to John. And John rang me and said, we've got it, I found the system. I always remember. And I said, so have I. Amazing enough. I said, what? I said, Don Failor. He said, you're joking, mate. I said, I just read it myself. And that's how it happened. And it's not all about, you know, everyone getting loads of customers and loads of franchises, but some people can, and it doesn't matter whether they can or you can only get 4 or 5 and a new franchisee. You just teach the system, just do it, get as many as you can, as long as you can teach them, look after them, and everyone's doing the same. So you got to, like, you know, unleash people, let them go and do what they're going to do, and look at what they're doing on social media. So what some people are doing is beyond belief.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter if they're in your organisation, as long as you're still determined and still keep doing it and doing it and doing it, someone's going to come along and run with it. And they're going to get 5 franchises. They're going to get 10 customers, 20 customers, 30 customers. But you're going to get people who only get 2 or 3. And that doesn't matter because you're part of the sort of team ethos. You're part of the movement. You know, you're all part of a massive same part of the same cog. Doesn't matter. You know, no one's bigger. It's not a me, not my team. It's an us and a we. That's the key to this, is to get things moving, you know, like an us and a we attitude, a movement. That's what it's about, where everyone's doing the same.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I mean, and I think that the amazing thing now, and one of the reasons I think why the UK is so successful, is the incredible unity we have now across all the teams. There's so much sharing, there's so much camaraderie between us all. As we saw at Marrakesh, it was astounding. I think that was the thing that really struck me, the unity. Rob, can we just talk a little bit about getting people started? And in your mind, how have things changed getting people started sort of 3 to 5 years ago to now? What do you see? Do you see any major changes, or do you think it's just fairly much the same, or what would you say?
Well, I just think it's got, you know, you've got to launch somebody, and it's got to be super simple. That they think, well, they can already launch it without you really telling them. So while you're showing them the business, how it works and the product, you're actually teaching them how to do it at the same time, which is key to Don Failer's method, really, is so people actually don't realise it, but you're showing them how to do the business while you're showing them the product and the business. So you don't have to go showing the product, showing the business. Yeah, I want to join. Go to a training. They've already had the training, because while you're showing them what it is, you're training them. So, for instance, someone joins a business, they sign up for the business. Or you show somebody the product, and you go, wow, there's business behind this, right? And they go, well, I won't mind. I said, you'd be great at our business. All you've got to do is what I've just done with you. For instance, I show like 1 minute videos over about 3 1 minute videos over 2 weeks. I send a sample of the product, a week's long product, which is like, to me, it gives me an opportunity to speak to them over the next 2 weeks. And over that 2 weeks, you sort of texting, showing 3 videos. And then he said on the 3rd video, actually says, look, well, if you want to do this business, believe it or not, you know how to do it, because you've just done it. You had it done to you. Just watch a few videos, look at the product, read a bit about it, watch another video, and then watch a 3rd video. And they think, well, I can do that. You've already trained them before you've told them how to do it. Said, well, we've just done it with you.
No, I love that. Like, just keeping it so simple.
What they'll do is they'll go on with it even without you. They think, I know how to do it. Before you know it, they've already said, look, I've got someone interested. Why? I've just showed you that video. You showed me. Oh, yeah. It's great. It's amazing.
Yeah. So we're just moving up to the 9 o'clock. We've got a couple of questions I want to ask you before we go into the question and answer. But for everyone online now, if you've got any questions you want to ask Rob, then start putting them on the chat box. We've already got a few that have come through. Very good questions, but it'd be great to have some more, because we really are talking to an absolute guru here, someone who has had the most phenomenal success, but really it's been a hard-won success that you've had, Rob, but it's come because you've been so determined, and I think it's amazing to hear your story. Just looking at the potential, Rob, of where you see it, I mean, how would you know, here we are now in the throes of massive success. But obviously there's some people listening perhaps for the first time or watching on the first time on the call, and they're going to say, well, where is the potential still really strong? How would you describe the potential as you see it now to someone new listening, for the first time? James,
I'm so excited. I can't sleep. I can't tell you. I just wish I could get people in my head to see or I must be deluded. But I know for a fact that we're the beginning of something incredible. We're just so lucky to have the foresight, to have the research being done from years ago. The fact that the health and wellbeing industry is booming, but majority with shocking products, unproven. And I'm pretty sure Brussels are going to pick up on that at some point. And the fact that our health system is in dire straits, and there's going to massive flip culture happen at the moment. And it is a culture that people are thinking, wow, it's a preventative culture, right? And it's about, not becoming ill or preventing illness and disease, not because people are thinking, wow, it's going to be no NHS. I mean, I'm pretty sure of that. And it's going to be private healthcare. So people are going to have to take their own steps to look after themselves. And we've got an amazing opportunity for less than a cup of coffee a day to be part of that. But not just maybe this could work. The Dawn stuff is amazing. It's gold dust. It just does what it says on the tin. It reduces the risk of illness and disease, put crash antibodies on your cells, reduces inflammation, repairs all the protein in your cell, and starts getting you a decent pH level. It's gold dust. And people are realizing now that you don't have to spend hundreds and thousands of pounds or whatever, thousands of pounds in gyms, and they can just do it by becoming healthier, by taking one or two simple steps. And we've got the golden nuggets for that, right? And it's amazing now that a lot of people, right, sort of in a way, knock Juice Plus because it was perceived as a diet. And I'm forever, everyone's saying I go to network and they think, it's that diet, isn't it? And that's fantastic. The fact is they know the brand Juice Plus, and all you've got to do is say, yeah, well, I thought it was a diet actually. Until actually I looked at it and I found it's a breakthrough in nutrition that attacks illness and disease for less than a coffee. And the business is now being built more and more on capsules, you'll notice, which is phenomenal. And it's only going to get better, right? And if your brand's well known, that's an amazing thing, because it means you've made some noise. We're here to stay, right? We've had the determined detractors, the doom merchants. We've had the people with hidden agendas, right? And the people who like know everything, they know everything. They're sort of quiet. From what I can see, they're being quiet now because we're still here. And that's the strength of the brand and the product. It's the strength of Juice Plus as a team. Like Team Rhino and Team Juice Plus world over. There's a massive movement going on in the world, and we're part of it. And we're sat in the right place, all right? And to get the right time, this thing is going to go on and on and on. This is not a wave, an MLM wave. We're not an MLM company. We're a virtual franchise, and we're a business partnership. And we've got the most amazing product in the world. But all you got to do is speak to the right people. You cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. But we seem to spend a lot of time convincing. Just go and give people. I give people a week's Vineyard Blend trial. But it might not have an effect, but it more often than not does. But it gives you the chance to talk to them, for know, like, and trust to get to happen. And then people buy off people who know, like, and trust. And say, right. And the videos do it for you. And guys, the videos are going to be on teamrhinotv.com very, very soon on the Puppy Dog program. It's for everybody. And most people on this call are not even in Team Rhino, but we're Team Juice Plus. Team Rhino is yours. It's ours. It's us. It's about giving everything away. So I hope that got you excited with that, because you can't tell you where we are with this. It's unbelievable.
No, Rob, look, I think it's fantastic. And that's why the video is so good, because we can see you're just so explosively excited. And obviously we all have great reason to be, because we're in the midst of something absolutely extraordinary here. So let's now move on to some of the questions. So we've got a lot of questions that have come through. So here we go. So obviously you've already spoken about the videos, and they're going to be on.
Yeah, they're a gift for everybody.
But
sorry. Yeah,
what particular videos have you found that you've had most success with? Because a lot of them are on YouTube.
Well, yeah. What I do is basically I get somebody interested, like for instance, the young guy at American Golf, and I'll say, look, that's what do you do? I said, and I think, what do they do? I think, well, I found a way of getting a competitive edge for golfers with this nutritional breakthrough. Oh, what is it? I said, look, I can't show you now because you're working. Give us your phone number and I'll text you later. It's only a minute long. And I said, what it does is this product reduces damage to your cells, and it gives you like more energy and clarity of thought. These are things that happen to me, but I'll send it you later. And it's a Reginald Fowler video, which is on teamrhinotv.com. Click on Better Health. And I've cut it down to 2 minutes, it tops. And if that doesn't show you how important our product is, nothing will. And then it starts from there. And then I said, right, look, let me send you a few samples, to try. But just that sort of sample gives you a chance to start chatting to him, because you've got to send it to him, which means you can text him, hi, John, I sent the sample, it'll be there in a couple of days. And then you can, before you know it, you might start chatting about other things, football, and what you're doing is the wall is being taken away, and you're building a rapport. And so the product might arrive in 3 days, and I'll show another 1.5 minute video, which I shot I've got a proper video guy in, filmmaker. And again, that explains they must take it for a week, what's going to happen over the week. They may not feel much, but ultimately what's happening is your cells are being turned over, right? And great. So and then I text them again after maybe 6 days. How are you getting on? Great. Oh, fine. I said, right, watch this next video. This is number 6. And it does the selling for you. It just says, look, Vineyard is great. The star of the show with us is all the studies are done on the fruit and veg, you know. And by the way, and it's actually self-funding. You're going to health kick. You start, you know, and it sort of it basically does the job for you. And so, and when they say, yeah, I'll have some, I've shown video number 3, which basically gets them interested in the business by saying, look, all you've got to do is get someone interested, showing 3 videos and showing this video. How duplicatable do you need it to be?
Yeah, fantastic. No, that's great. And obviously there are so many videos. We can just look on YouTube and just see some absolutely excellent videos, 1-2 minutes.
I don't like using YouTube.
You don't?
Because it's too complicated. I think you get too much of a choice. Before you know it, we'll start watching 10 videos, and one of them might be of some idiot being neg.
Yeah.
You take that away by sending them a video link, on a personal video link. Keep in charge of the situation.
Yeah.
Where they can't deviate off it. Take them through the funnel.
No,
without any distraction.
I always send people just one link to one video rather than just go to YouTube. Yeah, I totally. Yeah. Just some other questions, Rob. Just moving away from.
I'll send you the 3 videos, by the way, as well.
That'd be great.
I'll send them by Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd really appreciate that. Yeah. Okay, so just moving on. We just had a quick question here about the ingredients in the shakes. Melissa Bass just says, what do you say to people who question the ingredients in the shakes? I mean, I don't think there's really anything to question, but
the only shake I'm interested in is the shake I'm going to meet in Dubai, probably. Because, look, it's a joke, really. The one is the soya one is like ridiculous, right? Because end of the day, there's not one clinical study saying soya is bad for you and creates cancer, right? Not one. And the fact that there's only 1% is not genetically modified soya, and we create 70%, we grow 7% of the 1% in the world of soya. There's a bit of fructose in there, right? So there's these personal trainers, fructose this, fructose that. Look, there's only 200 calories, right, in the drink anyway, and the benefits of the fruit and the nutrients significantly outweigh the negatives of a tiny bit of fructose, right? It's basically, it's the best shake on the planet, and if you mix it with things like coconut milk or almond milk, etc., it's a plant-based drink, right? And there's nothing, it's good fast food on the go. It's got fruit and vegetables in it, slow-release carbohydrates. It's not got wheat. It's not got dairy. It's phenomenal. It's like people just looking to find faults, and it's often people with hidden agendas, cranks, or competition, basically, or people with big egos. And you don't just find somebody else, I'd say.
Perfect. And there's a question from Kelly. How do you keep finding more customers when you feel like you're running out of people you know? Right. Okay. Right. So if you read Eric Worre, what you need to do now is read Eric Worre, download it on your iPhone and iTunes, and it'll say hobby. It'll say poser, hobbyist, or pro. A pro, his main job is to expand his contact list, right? And a hobbyist, or somebody who is not a poser, a hobbyist, someone who's sort of you need to become a pro, because one of your daily method of operations must be finding new people to talk to. And you've got no excuses, I'm afraid, because now it's so easy on social media. People don't mind you befriending them. 1 or 2 go, do I know you? And you just go, well, no, actually, I don't, but I'll press your button by mistake. Oh, no problem. So you've got another friend. And it was much harder 10 years ago. We had to go out and sort of walk into beauty therapists, get on the phone, and we had to go and get a personal no, which is hard to take, right? Now, you might speak to 20 people, right? This week, you might, James, go and speak to 20 people, go and walk into 20 beauty therapists, and then you might get 1 that's interested, and 19 will tell you where to go and really hurt you, because no one likes, to that sort of stuff.
No one likes to be rejected. Now, you can go on social media and you can Google beauty therapists in Slough or in wherever, in Hampshire, and you can inbox every single one of them, 100, and you might get 5 people, yeah, that sounds interesting. Oh, I've heard about that. And the other 95, they don't even get back to you, so they don't hurt you. So you've got no excuses. You just have to get through the numbers. Get on social media. Start to add to your list every day. You've got no excuses. You do it in bed, and I do it in bed when I wake up in the morning. I wake up and go onto my new Facebook thing, and I add 20 people. I'll type in like, let's say, beauty therapists, and you might get a list of beauty therapists, and you go bang, 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 20, 5 get back to you, 15 not interested, but it doesn't matter. You've created 5 more people, and when you're posting stuff, what's happening is they're seeing your posts, right? And surely that now is a fish that wants your bait, because it's a beauty therapist, you've got a beauty product. We make the massive mistake of having a massive pond of people who already know you, know about Juice Plus, your friends, and it's basically, I've got a pond in front of me here. It's like having a pond with no fish in it. You want to put some fish in that want to bite. To find them fish, whether it's Weight Watchers, or it's Slimming World, or whether it's sort of cardiac care or something, whatever, you just think outside the box and add people that you basically would know they want what you've got. You just have to find a way then of enticing, like fishing, a bit of bread. Yeah, you've got to be active and think outside the box.
I love that, Rob. No, that's absolutely brilliant. Now, Angelina was just asking, I'm holding my first event in June. Any tips to run an event? Now, I know that you've run some amazing events, and in the early days, it was just you and John and Shay Senior. But what do you feel really makes a great event for someone who's running one in the local pub, or, you know?
Well, let me tell you something now. The biggest thing, what we did wrong was, as a company, is we used to be an hour and a half long. It used to be an hour on the product. It used to be half an hour on the business, the whole of the marketing plan. People would go out clueless because all it talks about is enzymes, and then what they do is talk about the business, the national marketing director, so they'd leave thinking, God, that was complicated. Now they've got to leave the meeting or the seminar, as I call it, right, knowing that all they've got to do is just take this, they're going to feel better, and all I've got to do the business is get so many customers. So 20 minutes on the product, testimonials by people who have been successful, and then 20 minutes on the business and testimonials about people being successful, all the way up as high as you can go. But don't worry about it. Don't worry about if you've not got an NMD there. All they've got to do is this, to know that all they've got to do is get a strategy of a minimum 825 points themselves, right? Which is 4 customers, maybe 4 or 5 customers, and a franchisee a month, and teach the same. And all they've got to do to get to SDD is get 3 people to DD and do it themselves. So they leave that room and they're already thinking of people while they're sat there. So it's a bit Don Failer-esque. You're training them how to do it while you're showing them. There's no need to do any training. They've been trained.
Yeah, fantastic. So let's just talk a little bit, as we finish up, Rob, let's just talk a little bit about the personal development side, because, you know, a lot of people are very intrigued. You know, hopefully a lot of people have already, you know, read the material by Don Failer and Eric Worre. But what are some of the other titles or personal development people that you've really got into, that you've really enjoyed and appreciated and have made a big difference for you?
Well, for some reason, I've always been into personal development. And one of the first books I ever read was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And there's 3 things he said. One phrase he says: you can't argue with somebody if you agree with them, and that will make you rich. Because what I'm saying is, someone says a negative to you, the worst thing you can say is have a go at them. I just say, look, you know, to be honest with you, John, I actually felt exactly like you did. However, when I had a look at it, I found out it was a nutritional breakthrough. That blah 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 blah. If someone says, oh, it's that diet, and you don't go, no, it's not. You go, well, yeah, well, you know, I thought it was that. However, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill is an amazing book. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, whatever his name is. We did a lot with that. John does a lot with that at the moment. But it's amazing how people, where we are, we're not designed to have our own business, but we should be. So that sort of stuff. I've got some, just always be reading and stuff. It's amazing what you remember. But definitely, the best one for me is just stick Don't Fail It. Not Don't Fail It. Jim Rowan in your car, because it's just so basic. But you've got to upgrade it to the modern world. And then with Beach Money, Jordan Adler, there's some great stuff in there about his numbers. He just said sign 30 people in, and this is an MLM, which is really difficult because you got to get people to invest. Sign 30 people front line and it'll never work again. That's one person a month for 2.5 years. If you can't sign 30 people into your business, but set them off properly for 2.5 years, then you shouldn't be in the business, because it's one person a month. If your life depended on it, you'd do it. And that's the attitude you've got to have. You've got to think, if I don't do this, my kids will die, sort of attitude. I know it's a bit gross, but that's what you've got to get into your head. And so look, you've got to in the morning, you've got to sort of say, right, it's my first day of my business. Set yourself affirmations. So when Jeremy Kinney's been a massive help to me with the Tony Robbins stuff.
I mean, Rob, you've obviously done a huge amount of work on yourself, and you've got yourself to a point where where in a sense your success was inevitable because you were just so ready for it. But what kept you going what really kept you going in those two years at the beginning where things were really tough and really
product? The best nutritional product there's ever been and ever will be.
And your experience and what you saw happening with your customers.
Yes. One of my first guys was a boxer who was fighting a local hero, and before he knew it, he was tired. He got beat in a massive world title fight, and I just said, "Look, try these." And he started taking. Next thing, he won the world title, and he fought Miguel Cotto live on Sky in Madison Square Gardens, and he loved the product. He said, "I've got so much energy. I've got football teams, professional cricketers. We've got 2 Team GB athletes who take Juice Plus at Loughborough. We've got a lot of the medical fraternity now in the Channel Islands very, very interested in taking the product. It's just, the product's amazing. It's just that, the product works, the business works. It's people that don't work. You just got to find the right people to talk to, but you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. It's a massive thing, I can tell you now. And when you find the right person, provided you do it right, this business is so easy. You've got to keep finding them, and don't dwell on the neg people. Just don't let them get to you.
Good. Go on.
And just stick with your upline, especially at the beginning, because you need them, because they're the ones that they can put the cement between the bricks that you're actually building. If you go out on your own, you're building a brick with no cement, a brick wall with no cement, it's just going to fall over. Your upline, it puts the cement between the bricks. So you get the contacts. Talk to your upline. Doesn't have to be your sponsor. I mean, John's done a lot of stuff with Alex, which is fine. I recognise that. Alex has seen this before. Hindsight's a great thing if you see it coming, but Alex has seen it before. I thought, well, Alex has been amazing at steering this ship. He's been like holding the rudder while we've been like getting the engines going, and he's been steering it. So work with your upline, please. It's a massive thing. Work with James. Work with anyone who's your upline who are successful.
Fantastic, Rob. Well, look, we're over time, but I've got to say you have been phenomenal. I mean, I can see you're just so energized, you're so focused, you're so full of everything, that has made you successful. You've worked so hard on yourself, and it's just been a pleasure to have you on tonight. This is not a job, though, is it? It is a mission, and it's in my blood, and I can't help but do it. Try and get that fire in your belly where you just got to do it. Can I just make a request while I'm on, James, very quickly? Guys, you can have anything from me for free on the Team Rhino website, any videos, inbox me, have what you want. Can you just help with the Mustafa Minibus campaign in Africa? You go on teamrhinotv.com and click on, donate. If it's just a £5, we've got them in minibus. It's worth £3,000, but it's got no windows and stuff. Come on, the guys deserve better. They've been massive for us. If we can raise about £5,000, we'll have an amazing vehicle for them, for us to use, and it'll just change lives massive, and that's what we're all about. So that's all I'm asking, and if you got anything from me, ask me any questions, anything you want. Thank you. Thank you very, very much indeed. Well, we're out of time now, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. I will make sure that we've recorded this. I'll post it. I'll send it to you, Rob, on Facebook. I'll be very grateful for the videos that you talked about as well. That would be amazing. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us. It's been an incredible call. Again, I've taken loads and loads of notes. But have a very good evening, everyone, and catch up very soon. And Rob, thank you.
Let's go, guys. Come on.
Take care. All right.
Go for it.
Bye for now. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.